right, welcome to Monday. Welcome. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. I'm your host, Professor Paul Markle, and we are in the... Where are we? We're in the Glass Case of Emotion Studios, located at Student of the Gun University in sunny Biloxi, Mississippi. You wish you were here, don't you? Well, maybe not now, but at some point in time, you will wish you were here. Hey, kid, is your microphone turned on?
Yeah, it is. I was just thinking that the people that came for the Beyond the Band-Aid class loved being here.
Oh, that's right. How could you not? Well, it's Monday. It is the big grad week. We've got a good show for you, so hold on to your hats. If you don't know what's going on this week, because, I don't know, apparently you've been living in a cave or something, and we've been talking about it for several weeks now, but this is it. This is the big week. This is grad week. It's the end of May. May is over. It's June now. And it's time for grads. So our grad week is going to include exclusive interviews with James Yeager, Massad Ayoob, Bill Wilson, and Dave Spalding. And some of you might be thinking, man, that's a lot of people to get in one show. No. Each one of those names that I just ticked off is going to be, I don't know if I ticked them off, but that I just checked off there, those are going to be complete and entire interviews in and of themselves. Full-length feature audio.
Full-length feature article. Front page of...
Yeah, front page of studentofthegun.com. No. But, yeah, that's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week is our special grad week. We've been talking about it. We promised we were going to do it, and guess what? Well...
We did it.
We did it, and it's time. But today is the public hour. Today is for you guys. Today is for everyone. And we're glad to be here with you. We hope that you had a good weekend. We had a busy weekend hosting Beyond the Band-Aid training class here at Student of the Gun University. We do the training. Well, we do the how to fix people training, and we do the how to break people training. So we do both.
Generally, we do the breaking people first and then fixing people first. That way, if you break somebody, then you know how to fix them.
That's what you do. You do the fixing people first, and then when you do the breaking part, just in case someone needs it. Oh, speaking of breaking stuff, we teased you with this last week that we were going to have a cage here at Fight U. And Jared thought that it might be a good idea to christen the new cage by inviting all... Oh, it's the public hour, and I can't say what I was
Everybody that
say.
talks crap.
Yeah. The Sierra Hotel India Tango talkers. That we might christen the new cage by inviting some of those persons to come on in to Fight U and help us christen and break in the new cage. What do you guys think? You think that's a good idea? All these smarty Alec know-it-all want to...
Yep, it's open for opportunity.
Air and opportunity. There's lots of air and opportunity here at Fight U. But it is Monday, and because it's Monday, we wouldn't want to deprive you of our SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. And Jared told you guys how to do it, but I'm going to remind you, if you want to be the Warrior of the Week, call in the special number, 682-207-7684, or 207-SOTG.
You've got exactly 5 days to do that.
That's right. You've got 5 days from now if you want to be eligible.
6 if you count today.
And leave your question. Be clear, be concise. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your question is. And if we pick you, guess what? You're the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week, and you will get a free bottle of 9mm plus P. Now, Jared's going to tell... Do you want to play it first, or you want to tell them what they have to do?
You just told them what they have to do. But I'm going to tell them what they need. Oh, I see what you're saying there.
To get their stuff.
Got me.
The winner. What does the winner have to do?
The winner is going to have to email Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com. Send her your name, your mailing address, your phone number, and please include your email typed in the body. That way we can just forward all the stuff over to SWAT Fuel, and your 9mm plus P bottle will be sent to you as soon as possible. So without further ado...
Professor Paul and Jared, my name is Woodson, and I'm from Indiana. My question is, what is the best way to, quote, keep your powder dry, end quote, when it comes to stored ammunition? Thanks for your time and your show.
And thank you for that question.
I know Woodson. I recognize Woodson Dudley. He is a grad program member. So
Oh, is he really?
I'm assuming that's
you're
who
assuming
this
that's the guy?
is.
Okay. Well, that is a good question, and it used to be, the simple answer used to be just get slightly used GI ammo cans, and that still can be the answer for you. Way back in the old days, I would say back in the day, no, 10, 15 years ago, ammo cans were relatively cheap. They were relatively easy to come by. Your standard GI ammunition cans. And now, the people that make ammunition for the U.S. Army and the U.S. Army, they're not stupid. They know that this stuff that's manufactured needs to be stored. We need to have war stock surplus. You don't get into a war and then start making the ammo. You need to have it in stock, right? And they know that they might, warehouse this stuff for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I mean, years upon years upon years. When we did the first Gulf War in 1991, we were throwing grenades that had been manufactured during the Vietnam War. The first grenade, Jared, I threw, I don't know the exact date, but I remember that it was manufactured in the 1970s. And we were shooting Laws rockets that were manufactured during the Vietnam War. And that was like 20 plus years later. So the best way, really, if you can get your hands on them, and the reason I'm saying a caveat is it used to be you could go to flea markets or you could go to gun shops or gun stores or your Army Navy surplus stores, and you could get GI ammo cans, whether the 30 caliber thin, narrow ones or the 50 caliber wide ones, for a pretty good price. You could pick them up for, $4 or $5. It used to be you could pick up GI ammo cans for $5 all day long, every day. Well, that all ended with the great crises, the great panic buying of 2011, 12, 13, 14. Basically, when Comrade Barry was inaugurated and immaculated as the savior of the liberals and the progressive left, when that happened, the cans started drying up, and they're harder to come by. And when you get them now, rather than being $5, now they're like $15. I actually was in a store and I found it a bit insulting, but I was in an Army Navy surplus store, and which is another topic in and unto itself, but they wanted $18.99 for an empty GI ammo can. I was like, wow. Whew, that seems a bit pricey. All right, well, if you can't find those, if they're not available to you, or you're thinking, well, if I leave them on a shelf, if I leave them here or something, will ammo cans rust? Yes. Now, they'll only rust if the paint has been chipped off of them. That's why if you buy one, if you pick up a used can, if you're one of these lucky, fortunate few that can find some GI ammo cans, whether they're at a flea market or Army surplus or stuff, if you got them and they're kind of scratched up or you can see they've been banged around, cool, rock on, buy it, and before you store your ammo in it, get yourself a can of Krylon or whatever and spray paint that sucker so that it doesn't rust. Well, if you buy plastic ones, they don't rust either, obviously, because they're plastic. Although beware, there are good polymer ammo cans, and then there are cheap, crappy polymer ammo cans. There's a couple of companies out there right now that have been selling their ammo in quote-unquote ammo cans. And you could buy like at Academy Outdoors or your favorite outdoor shop, and they're cheap. They're super cheapo crap. A friend of mine bought one, and we went out to the range. He grabbed the handle, yanked it out of the bed of the truck to carry it out, and the handle popped off on him. It was cork. You remember when cork came down here, Jared? We went over to Academy and he bought one. Yeah, we went out to the range. He grabbed that can out of the back of the truck, grabbed it by the handle, and the handle came off.
Yep.
I was like, wow, that's a cheap piece of crap. But they sell it to you, and you thinking, you see it, and you're like, oh man, that's cool. I'll get the ammo in the can, and it'll be great. You're like, well, it was manufactured for 57 cents in China or something. So you get what you pay for. There are a couple of companies that sell polymer ones. And check this out, Jared. I went to, when I knew this question was in the queue, so I went ahead and I brought up brownells.com, and I wasn't even planning to find this, but it just appeared. In their new products category on the front page, I was like, oh, I'm feeling froggy. So I clicked it, and one of the products that is a new product from Brownells is called the Ammo Brick. And you're like, what?
The whole brick?
Well, it's a stackable polymer container for ammo. And it's have you ever heard of the water brick? It's those cubes.
Oh, yeah.
Those emergency water cubes that you fill and you can stack them on each other.
Yeah.
Like giant Legos for adults. Well, this same company apparently said, well, hell, if we can make that to put water in, why don't we make a green one that's empty and has a handle on it and you can fill it with ammo? So these things are called the Ammo Brick, and it says that the volume is 1.6 gallons. Oh, so you probably put a crap load of ammo in something that large. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Loose ammo.
Yeah, loose. That's what it's for. Is loose ammo.
Yeah.
So yeah,
drop
check
the
that
link
out.
in the show notes, and I'll put it on studentofthegunradio.com. So you guys that can hear my voice, go to studentofthegunradio.com, click on SOTG 181, and it'll be in the little sources section of the show notes. And you can click directly on it and go to that to check it out. Maybe buy one if you want one.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I actually just did that. I just dropped it in there, and it says, this ships directly from the manufacturer. Please allow additional shipping time, yada, yada. Okay, cool. I get that. I dig that. So there you go, the Ammo Brick. Now, regardless of what you put your bulk ammo in, whether it's a metal GI can, whether it's one of these new polymer cans, when it's this thing right here, here's the deal. Ammo is almost like anything else that you want to keep and preserve for a long time. What will destroy your rice, your beans, your food? Jared, what will destroy it? What will make it go bad?
Air, water.
Water,
moist air.
Moisture and sunlight,
Yep.
right? So what do they tell you if you want to keep, medicine for a long period of time, if you want to keep emergency supplies, they say keep them in a cool, dry area. And that is the exact recommendation for ammunition. You want to keep it in a cool, dry area and keep it out of direct sunlight. Now, obviously, that you're like, well, duh, of course I'm not going to leave it out. Okay, well, whatever. But, if you want to keep your ammunition dry, and you say, well, that might negate storing ammo in the garage if you live in the South, because your garage gets up to 127 degrees in August and July, and it's damp. It's like 98% humidity, so that might not be the best place to put your ammunition. One other thing that you might think about is those silica packs. I don't know if Brownells has them, but I know you can go to the hardware stores and you can go to like Lowe's and what have you. Just tell them, say, I need those moisture absorbing deals, and they're like, oh, they're over there on aisle 13 or whatever. If you've got loose ammo and you're throwing it into one of these cans, those little silica packs that absorb moisture, they cost like, 20 cents, 50 cents a piece. Toss it in there, close it up, and you'll be good to go. So keep your ammunition dry, keep it out of direct sunlight, and seal it up in some type of a water airtight container, whether it's polymer or steel or whatever, and you should be good to go. And there's one other thing I'm going to tell you guys. Do not be afraid of corrosive primer ammo from like the former Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc and so forth. And people are like, oh, I would never shoot that. I would never shoot that. I would never shoot that. It's like, dudes, do you know why? Jared, do you know why they used corrosive primers in war surplus and military ammo?
So they would go bad and you'd have to replace them?
No, the opposite. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Smarty Marty. Yeah, they used, do you know that your great-grandfather or your grandfather fought all of World War II and Korea with corrosive primer ammo? What? How did we win World War II if we shot corrosive primer ammo? I don't know. Maybe they actually cleaned their guns. Crazy talk. But that is why they did it. Now, the technology, obviously, from 1940 to today has improved dramatically. But the old war surplus corrosive primer ammo, the reason they used it was because they could put it on a shelf for 50 years, open the can, and it would still be good. There you go. And the one thing I will tell you to be careful of is this clean or green ammo that they're trying to push on you. I know there was one company they have a green sign hanging out in front of the building that was making what was supposed to be a 100% non-toxic green ammunition that had no lead, no this, no hard, and the primers, because they had no harmful chemicals. So here's my hint to you: if you don't want the harmful chemicals to the primers to get in your body, don't lick your hands after you've been shooting, and don't put expended cases in your mouth, and you should probably be okay. But the company in question was manufacturing this green clean ammo, and they even admitted that the primers were lasting maybe 1 to 5 years depending. So yeah, watch out for that stuff, because what they're doing is they're screwing with something that doesn't need to be screwed with. They're fiddling, they're fixing something that isn't broken, and by doing that, you may be in. I wouldn't buy it. Jared, would you? No. Mm-mm. Jared's like, no. You want stuff that you know is going to last. Buy something that is mil spec. Minimum military specification. You'll be good to go. All right, thank you very much for that question. We hope you found it enlightening. And like I said, that ammo brick is available at brownells.com, and Jared put the link in there for you, so you guys can check that out if you want to. Now, the title of this particular episode is Ohio CCW Permits Revoked. You're probably thinking, oh, what? Well, before we get into it, we want to thank two sponsors. We want to thank Frog Lube for helping us keep our swords and our guns lubed up very well. Frog Lube, just works.
Yeah, there are many different uses for Frog Lube.
And if you have a Century Arms gun, you might want to slap a little bit of Frog Lube on that sucker, especially if it's a C39 RPK. They're so choice. 100% made in the USA RPKs, rifles, and pistols. So check those out. All right, what's the deal behind this story, Paul? This story, by the time you hear this, is probably going to have been all over the gun blogs. But the original source that we have here is Fox8.com. And that's Fox 8 Cleveland. 171 concealed carry permits revoked due to improper training. Uh-oh. This is Dateline May 26th. Brittany Harris is the author of this story. Lake County, Ohio. Lake County Sheriff Daniel Dunlap has announced that more than 170 people had their concealed carry permits revoked recently. He said they were taken away because none of them, the people that is, had the proper training. We had to notify them with a letter recently that they never had a valid license because they didn't complete the appropriate hours of hands-on training or training, he explained. That was a direct quote, by the way. Their instructor is to blame for that. The sheriff said he wasn't teaching the necessary information and was instead just signing off on the certificates. Ooh. Eventually, somebody was going to have to do something or say something, and it was just inevitable that we would find out, said the sheriff. The instructor, who hasn't been named at this time, but is facing a series of felony charges, that would be probably the number one ones, would be fraud. Sheriff Dunlap said that he wouldn't be surprised if a class action lawsuit was filed against this guy. He goes, some people are paying $75 to $100, so let's go ahead and do the math. The instructor has lost his teaching license, and as for the students, they will have to take a concealed carry course all over again, or for the first time. The sheriff said it wouldn't be practical to charge 170 people with the crime, since the main perpetrator was the instructor. Well, why am I bringing this up to you guys? Well, let me tell you why. Jared, have we had people that have said to us, well, I already know, I'm good to go. I know what I'm doing. I've already had training. Can I just get a? No, you can't just get a. No, you can't just get a certificate. I'm not putting my name on anything that I don't know 100%. I don't care where you came from or who you are. Mm-hmm. But you'll get people like, oh, come on, man. I know what I'm doing. Really? You do? You know what you're doing? Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Come on. Folks, don't put yourself in that situation. And this is not the first time this has come about, and it's not going to be the last time. I can guarantee you that. There's another state. Was it North Carolina, Jared? Yeah, I think it was. It was North Carolina. It was a guy around Charlotte, I remember this, who had put through like 37 or 52 or some number of people that had paid him the fee, and he just signed the certificates and passed them off to him. That is bad juju. That is not good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Charlotte one, but me personally, I wouldn't sign off on somebody that I didn't watch go through my class.
Well, folks, there's no point in it. This is just, we do ourselves no favors, but I know it's seductive.
Did you see the pricing for the class?
Oh, the $75 to $100?
Yeah, that explains it.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, come on, man. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Oh, you know what you're doing? Really? Is that true? Okay. So this guy, and here's the dealio. It's a good thing none of these people got into any kind of altercations.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Well, the truth of the matter is that if the sheriff wanted to be a hard ass, he could go after every one of them. And every one of these people is lucky that he doesn't want to burden the legal system by going after 171 individuals.
Yeah, he said, the sheriff said, it doesn't seem practical that we're going to try to charge 170 people with the crime when the main criminal is the guy who inappropriately gave the classes to these people.
Yeah. But he warned them, and this story is from Ohio. It says, to see if the instructor actually is certified, click here. And there's a list of state-certified instructors. They have the same thing in Mississippi. You go to, Mississippi DOJ or Mississippi DPS, Department of Public Safety, and type in the name or look for one near you or what have you. But it is important that you guys understand, first of all, I can't imagine not wanting to take training. I'm just a weirdo. I'm just like strange. I can't imagine thinking that, well, I'll just give you this money. You give me a certificate that says I know how to do whatever. Dude, you're trying to save your own life here. Do you not get that part of the whole gun carrying thing? Do you not get the fact that if you do it wrong, that you could lose everything? If you behave incorrectly and unlawfully, you could lose everything. And I'm not talking about your gun. I'm talking about your car. I'm talking about your house. I'm talking about being financially ruined. Because why? Because you wanted to save some money. You want to pay this dude $75 and he's going to give you a permit. You'd be good to go. You won't even be able to talk to an attorney for an hour for $70. Well, maybe you might find an attorney that you can talk to for $75. He might listen to you for 1 hour for $75. But it makes no sense. And I'm not telling you to be a rat, but here's what I'm telling you. If somebody comes up to you at a gun shop or at a gun show and says, hey, dude, this guy over here, you want to get your permit? You want to get your permit, haven't you? Yeah. This dude over here, you just go sit down with him for 15 minutes, give him $100, and you'll get your certificate. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. And it's not worth it. Dude, what is your life worth to you? See, that's a crazy thing, Jared, is people, like, they don't think that what they're doing, what we're doing here, we're not teaching ballroom dancing. We're not giving tennis lessons. We're teaching people to save lives, their own and other people's. Is your life and the life of your family worth the investment in the 8 or 12 hours? And, you know, the crazy thing, Jared, about this is, remember we reported all the changes that they made in Ohio here recently? One of the things they did is they reduced, it was like a 12-hour day or something weird like that. They reduced it to like one single 8-hour day. So you can't devote one 8-hour day to the skills you might need to save your life.
Maybe you shouldn't be, I don't know. If you can't...
Maybe you should be carrying a gun?
Yeah, see, the way I see it is if you can't devote yourself to the training, then maybe you shouldn't even be carrying a gun.
Dudes and dudettes, stop. I know there's 3 of you out there.
Yep.
I see you that got your ass hairs all up. And you're like, you're telling people. No, I'm not telling you that you have to get a government approved permission slip to own a gun. I'm not even telling you that you should get one to carry a gun. I'm telling you that as a responsible, intelligent, adult human being, you should have the drive and motivation to improve yourself. That is what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you that I don't think the government should mandate it. I think you should be smart enough to get the training you need without having Big Brother tell you. That's what I think, if you want to know the plain truth. I think that if you should desire for greatness, you should desire for self-improvement. Why are you here? Why are you listening to my voice right now if you don't desire self-improvement? If you don't want to make yourself better? Well, the vast majority of you are, and congratulations. Some of you may be new to the show.
I was to say because you have a voice for radio.
Do I have a voice for radio? Do I have a face for radio?
Maybe they wanted to go to sleep, so they just turned you on. You can lull them to sleep.
I could lull them to sleep.
You gonna sing for them?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
All right, so Cat in the Hat and Dat Be Dat, bust a rhyme. Next story, but before we go on, we want to thank our good buddies at, Velocity Triggers. Velocity Triggers designed for precision. If you have a black rifle, they got a trigger for you. I guarantee it. Check them out at velocitytriggers.com and tell them that Student of the Gun sent you. Crossbreed Holsters. If you have any contact with Crossbreed Holsters, I was going to say, if you have to contact them, tell them that we sent you, unless you're going to complain. If you're going to call them and complain, then tell them that Talking Lead sent you. If you're going to complain, tell them that Talking Lead sent you. But if you want to thank them and get something cool from Crossbreed Holsters, then tell them that you heard about them from Student of the Gun. If you want to carry a gun, if you want to secure a gun to yourself or anything else, Crossbreed Holsters can help you do it. Go check out their website at crossbreedholsters.com. Now, we're kind of stuck in the Buckeye State, but that's okay. A good friend of mine who's still a police officer in Ohio, he told me that I needed to take a little closer look at this case. And you may or may not know about it. I don't know how far outside of Ohio this news has gotten. I know it's been on like the Washington Post and the left-wing progressive blogs and websites and so forth are pushing this as a... This is what makes me... It's one of those things that makes you go, huh? The exact same people, the progressives, the statists, those who believe that the government is the answer for every problem you encounter in life. I don't have water in my house. Government job. I don't have a house to live in. Government's job. I don't have a job. The government's job is to give you a job. You can't find a job. The government's job is to just give you money until you get bored. It's all the government's job, right? The exact same people that embrace, that can't get enough big government when it comes to the police. Oh, we need to investigate the police. The police are racist. The police are abusive. The police are this. The police are that. We hate the police. Who in the hell do you think the police work for? They work for GM, they work for Microsoft, they work for some private corporation. Hey, dork. Yeah, you, the hippie liberal dork out there that thinks that the government's job is to take care of you from cradle to grave. Who do you think the cops work for? Who pays them? Where do their checks come from? The government? Yeah, no kidding. Who are the representatives of the government that you're going to encounter? The police? Yeah, but you hate them. Maybe, you know what, Jared? I figured it out. I just figured it out. This just occurred to me. You want to know what it is? Are you zoned out over there, Crazy?
No, I was just...
I figured out how to make...
I thought that was a rhetorical question.
No. I want you... I just figured out. I'm not even joking. This just hit me. I'm swat fueling. Do you know how to make people in inner cities love the police again? Make the police hand out the welfare checks.
I was going to say make the police go away, and then they'll realize, wait, maybe we need them.
No. They don't need the police. Make the police, put them in charge of the distribution of the socialized welfare money.
I think you're onto something. Yeah, but then the federal
you have to go to the police station.
But then the federal government can't control it without controlling the local.
Well, technically,
police.
the federal government.
That might be a bad idea. That might be a bad idea.
No. Technically, the federal government has no constitutional authority to give them your tax money.
But it doesn't matter.
You know that, right?
What Constitution? What's that?
Yeah, it's the state government.
I thought that thing got burnt.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Well, that's what they need to do. They need to put the police in charge of handing out the welfare checks. And everybody in the city will love them then. Oh, am I going to get letters? Go ahead. I dare you. Write me a letter. All right, this story comes to us from WashingtonPost.com. And this happened in Cleveland, as we said. There was a situation where a car, it's kind of convoluted, but a car pulled up, was driving very slowly past a police station. And in the investigation, it appeared as though the car backfired. Boom, like a gunshot. Now, why does a car backfire sound like a gunshot? Well, because it's a combustion engine. Do you know how out of tune and ragged out a car has to be to backfire, Jared?
Yes, I do.
Like, this isn't like the Three Stooges movies. To hear a car backfire in 2015 is like finding a four-leaf clover. They almost never do. But anyway, so here's what happened. Car backfires. Kabam! Right by a police station. And so the popo think that they've been shot at. So they chase the car. So they get out to stop the car. They get behind the car like, you car, you need to stop. Well, the car doesn't stop. The car speeds away. And they're like, okay, well, if there was any mistake that somebody in that car shot at us, now that the car is speeding away and trying to escape, we all feel very certain that by that action that they're trying to get away. So everybody who joins in the chase is joining in the chase with the thought process that an occupant of this vehicle just shot at the police station and then accelerated at a high rate of speed to escape from the police. That's what's going on in their minds at that moment in time. So they finally get this car stopped and attempt to make the arrest. Well, they don't. I don't know if the car backfired a second time, third time, whatever. Well, Cleveland PD opens fire on the car, and the two occupants die. All right. Turns out in the investigation that they did not pull a gun out of the car. So they said that they were unarmed. Well, the people are like, murder, the police murdered these people. Okay. This was in 2012. Well, the trial for the one officer who they charged with manslaughter or deliberate killing of these two people was just found not guilty. And you have your agitators up there in Cleveland and Jared, you have the show notes open? The one that says Post TV. It's only a 2-minute.
Post TV. No, I don't see that.
You don't see that? You don't see where it says
Post TV?
Right here. Look at my monitor.
Okay.
See that?
Oh, that's not the show notes. That's the actual website.
Okay, yeah, on the actual story. Go ahead, and I want everyone to listen. They interviewed citizens.
Is there an ad?
I don't know if there's an ad or not. Yeah, there is an ad. Yeah, there's an ad.
We'll talk for a second.
You go ahead and get that right. Yeah, folks, did you ever do that? Did you ever want to share something with somebody and you're like, hey, listen to this, and an ad for Dawn dish soap pops up? Or you know what I like? I like how slick they've become, and you listen to a national thing or a national website and they drop in like a local car dealer on you. And you're like, you turds. Dropping local car dealer commercials in on me. But the reason I want Jared to play this is because not so much of what the judge says and not so much of the narration. They went out to the streets of Cleveland to interview Cleveland residents and ask them their opinion. And that is what I want you to hear. Listen to the people, and you'll know who they are.
The defendant proved by a preponderance of the evidence that he is legally excused from liability for those crimes because he caused the serious physical harm to the victims in a constitutionally reasonable effort to end an objectively reasonable perception that he and the others present were threatened by Russell and Williams with imminent serious bodily harm.
Now it's time.
We want justice. When do we want it? Now.
The people in the city of Cleveland feel it's time for some justice, just like they feel all over the country.
You still try to hold out hope that justice will be served, and it won't be just them and then just us.
We don't get rid of these guilty officers and make them guilty and make them serve their time for the crimes they've committed, then all it's going to do is cause a lot of distrust in the community.
That don't mean you should judge all the police, because we need them.
Cleveland and Cleveland Heights. Take that spike strip.
Okay.
I've never been so afraid in my life. I thought my partner and I was being shot and that we were going to be killed.
That's the officer.
And I just couldn't understand why the suspects were moving, still shooting at us.
In summary, I find that the state did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Michael Brelo, knowingly caused the deaths of Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams because the essential element of causation was not proved for both counts. I therefore find the defendant not guilty of counts 1 and 2 as indicted, and the defendant is discharged. Thank you. We're off the record. All right.
Now, here's my question for you guys. And if you read this story, this is how you remember we talked about last week, Jared, the Washington Times versus the Washington Post.
Yeah.
The Washington Post felt the need to stick in Freddie Gray and another high-profile case, and they felt the need to put that in there. Now, you say, all right, well, what is the story with these two people that led this chase went all over Cleveland, this high-speed chase, and it involved 62 it says in the story, 62 officers participated in this chase to try and stop this vehicle. All right. Yes, is it tragic to an extent? Yes, it's tragic to an extent. Now, here's what I'm going to get you from the story. The fatal shooting of Russell and Williams in East Cleveland in 2012 was the outcome of a chain of events that began shortly before 10 p.m. when an officer in an unmarked car activated his windshield strobe lights and tried to stop the 1979 Chevy Malibu for a turn signal violation. The blue Malibu stopped but drove off as the officer got out of his car. About 5 minutes later, the Malibu backfired as it drove past police headquarters. So this guy's already going after him. They go by police headquarters. It says the Malibu 1979 Chevy Malibu. Officers mistook this for gunfire and continued to pursue. Old Chevy on St. Clair just popped off a round, said one officer radioed into dispatch. So radio transmission set off what became a 20-mile chase.
62 cars.
62 cars.
Cop cars.
20-mile chase, and you're like, oh, well, all right. What happened here? Now, we told you what happened. Numerous shots fired. Both suspects died. And we get to this. Now, keep in mind that they just interviewed all these members of Cleveland's community, right? They have these. What did that woman say? They need to make them guilty.
Yeah.
Do what now?
Make them guilty.
They need to make them guilty. Oh, they need to make them guilty. And no justice, no peace, racist police. Okay, I got you. All right. There. And they're really super concerned about this wrongful killing of these two individuals, Mr. Williams and Ms. Russell. Well, let's talk about who Mr. Williams and Ms. Russell were and what was going on before they took the police on a 20-mile high-speed chase. Both Williams and Russell were homeless, mentally ill, and addicted to drugs. Family members and officials said Police later determined that the pair were under the influence of drugs the night they died. The pair, now they're homeless. How do they afford dope?
Because they didn't have a home.
Oh, that's they didn't have to pay rent. Okay. The pair met in a nursing home where Russell had been undergoing rehabilitation after a car accident in which he tried to, quote, outrun a police car. All right, pattern of behavior here, said his sister Michelle Russell in court. Timothy Russell of Maple Heights had struggled with drugs and been diagnosed as bipolar, she testified. He was the father of an 18-year-old and a self-employed bathtub refinisher. Have you ever heard of a self-employed bathtub refinisher?
Yeah, it's called a
general contractor.
Yeah, general contractor.
But that's what it says here. He was a self-employed bathtub refinisher.
Maybe that was his reason for the bath salts.
I don't know. Williams of Garfield Heights was a sweet girl, said her uncle, Walter Jackson Sr. Of course, everyone who dies was like an angel. He and his mother helped raise Williams after her mother abandoned her as a child. He said in an interview, as she grew older, she became involved with drugs and later was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Eventually, after repeated bouts with the law, she was imprisoned at a women's correctional facility alongside her mother. All right. Do I believe these two needed to be executed? No, I don't. Do I believe that their actions led to their own demise? Yes, I do. But that's not why I'm bringing this up. Here's why I'm bringing this up. We have two individuals here who are involved in narcotic activity, who are involved in criminal activity, who are homeless, right? Riddle me this, Batman. Where was the outraged community of Cleveland when Russell and Williams were shooting up dope living in their car? Where was the community that cares now? This community is so upset with the death of these two individuals that they did what? That the community did what to assist them and to keep them from coming to this end? I'm sorry, what was that? Crickets, crickets, crickets. Where was the community of Baltimore when Freddie Gray was out on the street dealing dope? Where was the community when recidivist criminal Freddie Gray was out on the street dealing dope? Where was the community? Where was the community when the Gentle Giant was preparing for college? Oh, well, he was going to go to college just after he knocked off another Quickie Mart. When the Gentle Giant was committing strong-arm robbery and posing for pictures with his purple drank and his gat and his blunts, where was the community? And you know they sealed his like mile-long freaking juvenile record.
Oh, they sealed it?
Yeah. Well, they haven't made it. Look it up, bro. When the story originally came out, they were not releasing the information from his juvenile record, but maybe they have. Where was the outraged community? All these people that are taken to the streets with their bullhorns and their outrage and their indignation, derpa, 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 derpa. Where were they when these people were alive? Where was the community? These people are community organizers, community activists, community derpa, derpa, derpa. Where were they? Where was the community when Russell and Williams were living in a 1979 Chevy? The community was nowhere to be found because the community doesn't give one rat's ass about these people while they're alive. It's only after they're dead that they all of a sudden become concerned. Oh, we're concerned. We're outraged. Where was your outrage before? Where was your outrage when these people were out peddling dope? Oh, is my show on? Yeah, is my show on? Did the check come? Yeah, where were these community organizers? Where was Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and Elijah Cummins Where were they when Freddie Gray was standing on a street corner selling dope?
If they would have spent half the amount of money on these individuals as they spent on getting people
buying agitators
and protesting, then they probably would have actually helped somebody.
I thought the community was supposed to be a group of neighbors that assisted each other so that you didn't need other people to come in and intervene.
This article on the Washington Post was like extremely long. Yeah. So I would assume that the majority of the people that read it won't even get to the part about the history.
They buried their criminal history all the way at the bottom, last 2 paragraphs. And they know for a fact that 90% of the people, maybe 85%, will read the title only. Then maybe 10% more will read the first 2 paragraphs, and that less than 1% will go all the way down and read the entire article all the way to the bottom. Less than 1%. Most people are like idiots on Facebook. They're going to post a comment based on the title of the story. They won't read the story. They won't watch the video. They're going to post a comment based on the title of the video or what shirt Yeager happens to be wearing. Some of you
that just came to you.
Some of you know what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm going to leave you with. That's what I'm going to leave you with. Next time you hear someone talking about Baltimore or Ferguson or Cleveland or whatever, say, hey, ask them this. Ask that chick at work who's a super hyper liberal chick. Ask her, say, hey, where was the community of Baltimore's concern when Freddie Gray was standing on the street corner selling dope day after day after day after day? Where was their concern? Ooh. Yeah, my show on? Yeah, no kidding. All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages and students of the gun nationwide, and even if you're not in America, if you're not in the United States of America, good day. And all that stuff.
I was going to say, because we get to, 137 countries?
Is it 137 countries?
Yeah, 137.
Woo!
That's quite a bit.
Woo!
So, remember...
all of you disarmed tax slaves that live in,
Yeah, this is the last episode for the public this week.
Yep. But this is a free country. It's a free country. Still, I think even in New York, you can become a member of the grad program. I think. You guys let me know. If you're in the People's Republic of Illinois, New York, California, New Jersey, let me know. All right. Remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. And you're a student for life.